Song of the Old Bullock-Driver by Henry Lawson. Far back in the days when the blacks used to ramble in long single file ĺneath the evergreen tree, the wool teams in season came down from Coonamble, and journeyed for weeks on their way to the sea. ԼTwas then that our hearts and our sinews were stronger, for those were the days when the bushman was bred. We journeyed on roads that were rougher and longer than roads where the feet of our grandchildren tread. With mates who have gone to the great never never, and mates whom Iĺve not seen for many a day, I camped on the banks of the Cudgegong River and yarned at the fire by the old bullock-dray. I would summon them back from the far Riverina, from days that shall be from all others distinct, and sing to the sound of an old concertina their rugged old songs where strange fancies were linked. We never were lonely, for, camping together, we yarned and we smoked the long evenings away, and little I cared for the signs of the weather when snug in my hammock slung under the dray. We rose with the dawn, were it ever so chilly, when yokes and tarpaulins were covered with frost, and toasted the bacon and boiled the black billy, where high on the camp fire the branches were tossed. On flats where the air was suggestive of opossums, and homesteads and fences were hinting of change, we saw the faint glimmer of apple-tree blossoms and far in the distance the blue of the range. And here in the rain, there was small use in flogging the poor, tortured bullocks that tugged at the load, when down to the axles the wagons were bogging and traffic was making a marsh of the road. ԼTwas hard on the beasts on the terrible pinches, where two teams of bullocks were yoked to a load, and tugging and slipping, and moving by inches. Halfway to the summit they clung to the road. And then, when the last of the pinches was bested, you'll surely not say that a glass was a sin? The bullocks lay down ĺneath the gum trees and rested, the bullockies steered for the bar of the inn. Then slowly we crawled by the trees that kept tally of miles that were passed on the long journey. Down, we saw the wild beauty of Capertee Valley, as slowly we rounded the base of the crown. But, the poor bullocks were cruelly goaded while climbing the hills from the flats and the vales. ЛTwas here that the teams were so often unloaded that all knew the meaning of counting your bales. L and O. But the best paying load that I carried was one to the run where my sweetheart was nurse. We courted a while, and agreed to get married, and couple our futures for better or worse. And as my old feet grew too weary to drag on the miles of rough metal they met by the way, my eldest grew up and I gave him the wagon, hell's plodding along by the bullocks today.